What is up, RotoGrinders? Happy Friday. Right now, the start of 2 hours nonstop NBA DFS conversation. Slight hiccup as far as the show from the start. Our apologies, a few minutes late. Not my fault for once. It's not Bobby Gomes' fault. I'm not going to say whose fault it was. It's not the two of us. Just some technology, just some technological issues. 2 hours nonstop NBA DFS conversation. Crunch time coming in at around 6:15, 6:20 or so. Of course, you have Roth holding that down. Returning champion Notorious. Noto's coming back, as well as, I believe it's Beer and Noto taking y'all all the way up to lock tonight. Distinctly different slates. 6-gamer on DK, 9-gamer on FanDuel. DraftKings, they cut out the Warriors and the Kings, the Thunder and the Jazz, and the T-Wolves and the Rockets. Bobby, you're fading in and out. All right, there you are. All right. I'm in my eye. My side monitor, I'm like, are you disappearing or you're jumping in and out of the frame? But I guess that's just the green screen playing tricks on me. Bobby, I couldn't quite figure it out. Like, what looks different about you? It's like, oh, you went outside. And
I went outside in Florida, yeah. Got a tan, you know. I know you don't live in Florida and you don't go outside, so.
I might as well live in Dubuque. It doesn't matter, right?
It obviously doesn't matter, yeah. The weather here has been fantastic. I caught such a great 2 months of weather. I want to push 3, Dean. I want to stay here till April.
Why not? Stick around. Do you like when you're getting this? Are you going like to the beach or something like that, or just kind of everyday activities we're talking about?
Well, everyday activities, but there's also a pool in my complex, a couple different ones. So go to those. One to the beach, a couple days. Yeah, it's been nice, Dean. You should get out. Come visit me.
Yeah, well, for sure. Yeah, I know there's an open. Maybe we'll see. You never know. You never know.
Running out of time here. Well,
you just said you're extending your stay, possibly. Maybe.
I'd like to extend my stay. I think my girlfriend wants to get back because my son keeps asking me, when are we going back to Boston?
She's getting antsy, but you?
Well, she likes it too. My kids, my son.
Well, there you go. Everything else going all right? Friday, got the weekend on layaway. And
everything's doing good. Everything's going great. How's everything in Dean's world?
It's uneventful and things you don't want to. It's boring and not fun stuff. Basically, nothing that's worth sharing. It's not great, but no major complaints. But just adult stuff, which is who wants to get into that. All right, how's chat doing? What's up, chat? Hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. It is a film Friday. How did we not lead with that, Bobby? That's the most important thing on the slate. We'll go ahead and drop that first clue for the people. Be the first person to tell me what film we are talking about. I say we, like me, Bobby, you're part of it. Yeah, you're talking about it too by association. Tell me the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord.
I'm not involved in this. I'm not involved.
Well, you could play the home version. You can play along.
Still can't get one guess correct.
One of these days, you're gonna get one. I think you're due. Do you believe in the due theory? I think you're.
Is it Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? This one, insect.
What if it was?
Yeah, then I ruined the game, and we can just move on.
It would be amazing if it was.
I would love it to be. I would have loved it to be, so we could be done with it.
It's funny, yeah. The Fly was just guessed by D-Rock. Iowa Boy said the same thing. A Bug's Life, I was waiting for that guess as well. Yeah, can't quite make it that easy, but those are good guesses. Not Space Jam. Discord channel is free. Most of the Discord channels are free. If you're a premium member, there are some premium channels, but most of them happen to be free. There's NBA chatter throughout the day. Depending on the sport, there are different channels for things of that sort. Double M squared. It is not Ant-Man, although Ant-Man is relevant because Ant-Man is questionable tonight. As far as body parts, we'll talk about that. Again, that is FanDuel only, Minnesota and Houston. Edwards is questionable. I believe Chop might be in the house. He was talking about possibly going to the Rockets game. He was talking about this yesterday on the show. Yeah, as far as the injury report, and I did go ahead and drop that in chat as well. It's a free piece of content from RG. If you're not aware, we have the scrolling up for it now. I know I dropped it earlier. I lost my link, unfortunately. But the situation room ranks 1 through 10 as far as the players we're monitoring, and it talks about which, the trickle down effect, the domino effect, if somebody happens to be out. But yeah, Wemby, of course, out for the season. Nothing new there. Edwards, the one, the big player that's questionable on FanDuel. Gobert also is questionable. I guess Giannis is going to play. He's officially probable. They only rolled out Lillard, but they did that weird thing yesterday with conditioning his minutes. And now it's the back half of a back-to-back, and it's Washington, and he's probable. Lillard's not playing. We'll have that conversation, but very, very strange. Also strange in New York with OG Anunoby, who's questionable. Did not play yesterday. Maybe they rested him one extra day for the back half of a back-to-back, preparing him. Those New York guys, but played a ton of minutes yesterday with the overtime. Every starter played at least 38, and some played like 41, 42, 43 because Tibbs is a madman. PJ Washington also questionable. He would be probably the biggest dude available for Dallas, I think, by default, if he happens to play, because Dallas is centerless for the time being. Yeah. Well, anything you want to note as far as players we are monitoring? We did get Suggs out for Orlando. Not terribly surprising. We haven't seen him for a bit. So I'm pulling up the injury report, seeing if I missed anything. The Giannis conversation is so weird because the spot is incredible. It's even better without Lillard, but I don't know how to confidently play him after what happened yesterday and the report yesterday. And now it's the back half of a back-to-back, and it was so weird. It's like, just sit him. If we're just sit him one game and play him regular in the other, and they're just like hedging it 24 and 20. Who knows what he gets tonight? I don't know what's going on there, but double revenge, double first blood revenge in that game too. I know you're excited about that. Chris Middleton and of course the very vengeful. Is he vengeful?
I'd be vengeful if they traded me to the Washington Wizards.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah, Middleton, former champion, right? Big part of that championship team. And I know he's dealing with some injuries and all that. And also getting traded for Kyle Kuzma is kind of an insult too. Like, you're trading me for that guy? Like, at least Anthony Davis can say, like, oh, I got traded for Luka. Like, oh yeah, people respect me. They know I'm good. But he got traded for Kyle Kuzma, who's kind of terrible.
Kind of terrible.
Stack-a-piler, a good fantasy guy, but he's not helping you win any games.
Yeah. He hasn't been great this year, Kuzma, for what it's worth. For me, just basically, I have Giannis at 76% to play tonight, Dean. 76%.
Yeah.
I'm not really worried about
probable, but yeah, it could definitely go away. Yeah.
I'm not really worried about Giannis. I am worried about having to play Bucks chalk, or what I assume to be multiple Bucks, because I just, God forbid, like every slate that I've had to play multiple Bucks on the year, I feel like I've lost. Just because I, for whatever reason, just can't get them right or whatever. But yeah, it's Kyle Kuzma chalk night today, I would imagine, right, Dean? You in on that?
I mean, what could go wrong? I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good.
Pretty good. Like, we're playing the Wizards, pace up. Revenge,
I think so.
First blood revenge.
Yeah. And again, the Giannis thing, we'll get into it. And our projection team, and I'm not here to critique, I have no clue. I wouldn't know where to start, but I think he played 24 minutes yesterday. And Doc said that was basically the amount of minutes we wanted to give him, more or less. And they're giving him 30 now. Obviously, there's a little bit of a push down, right? 30. He would typically get more as a median projection. But I think he's are you running a bunch of lineups tonight? You making like 2 or 3? Because I don't know if there's no more information coming out. I don't know if I can click on his name. And it's got to be like a monster tournament, even though the spot's incredible, because I just don't trust the minutes. I'm curious. What are you playing tonight?
I'm building for 150 and then just selecting 5 teams. So
yeah,
that's kind of how I'm doing it. I don't know if I had Giannis in my first run and I just X'd out of it, so I'm rerunning it again. I would imagine I'm going to get Giannis versus the Wizards. Like how are they going to stop Giannis?
Well, Doc's going to stop him, and then the team Doc, because we don't know how many minutes he's going to play. That's the only thing that stops him, though.
It's only a 6-game slate. There are other alternatives if you spend up. Really like Cade Cunningham, as always, just like absolutely crushing. Detroit's really turned it around since last year. I remember we were talking about Detroit on shows last year like it was the end of the world for Detroit, and they've kind of really got things going in a hurry. Yeah, Cade would be my favorite pivot. You can go to Towns. You talked about the minutes like all these New York guys played last night, and it would make me a little bit scared.
Any other coach,
but he might do it again. He doesn't care. He just wants to run his guys into the ground, and that's fine for us. We'll take that. So fine with some Towns. What about Kyrie? Any Kyrie interest?
I think he's interesting. You mentioned Cunningham, by the way. Cunningham is my I wrote in the survey today. He's my favorite play. My favorite play. I was looking at the slate last night. Like, always kind of give like a look ahead, and I'm just like, I don't know how popular Cade's going to be, but I just thought for sure he's the best play. Of course, that's all relative. And shout out to Eric in chat, who's always touting Cade Cunningham. I think he's got to be excited that Cade's his guy. And early ownership stuff, we have
him at 13%.
Yeah. I got 17. I don't know, maybe give it a refresh, but
yeah, I gotta give it a refresh then.
But I thought that's low. I hope it holds like somewhere close there, because that seems kind of low. Yeah. By the way, the most popular play as of right now, ownership wise on DK. And speaking of players that give you like make you queasy when they're popular, Kevin Porter Jr. is currently
I have 100% currently. I just reran. Yep, Bucks chalk 4,200.
Yeah.
I'd love to get Tim's. I wish Tim was we still had Tim on the other side here, because Tim would give us a feel of like, is Kevin Porter good chalk or bad chalk? I'm getting 100%, so I'm probably playing him. But like Elf last night, I ended up not playing Elf really on my main team, which is
me too. I still lost, actually. Officially, I did lose, but it wasn't because I didn't play Elf.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not who you play, it's about who you don't play.
Yeah.
One of these Bucks chalk guys is going to torpedo some lineups tonight. I can pretty much, maybe Ryan Rollins, 3,600 Ryan Rollins.
We'll get there. I like having this kind of overview before we're going to dive in game by game.
I do too. But we're basically talking about construction anyway, so it's nice to have this conversation.
I was thinking about it, and maybe it's wrong. Do we cap Rollins and Porter at 1? They're just both so cheap, and then the matchup, so they both can definitely get there. So I don't. I was contemplating that, but I think they might eat at each other a little bit. One of those two is going to start probably. One of those two is not going to start. Right? Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say. I like that rule. And when they get there together, you're basically playing with a bigger pool of players that built the same way. You know what I mean? Like, the likelihood is one of these guys is going to bust. So yeah, making that group, I don't hate it all.
I'm not officially married to it, but I'm contemplating it.
If you had a rank, is this too early to get into if you had a rank Bucks chalk section of the show, portion of the show?
So we can talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
37% Porter, 21% Rollins, and there's a little bit of hedge stuff here. We have our projection team's got 24 minutes to Porter and 24 minutes to Rollins. I don't know which way that's going to go. And I can certainly see Porter playing 28 and Rollins playing 20, and I can see that flipping, So, but I also can see both guys playing and both guys getting there, however you define that, just because they're so cheap and the matchup is so good. And also,
in smaller field stuff, it's fine, right? But in larger field stuff, there's
maybe
more.
Not. That's more of a conversation. That's more of a question for you in the larger field stuff.
In the larger field,
smaller, yeah.
I keep cutting you off. I feel like I'm Blender.
No, you're good.
Yeah, in the larger field stuff, I'd probably make that rule. I still want to make that rule in smaller field stuff too, because I want to win tournaments. Yeah, but I think it's fine to play them together in smaller field stuff. I just think that getting away from, like you talked about, their minutes, Porter at 4,200, Rollins at like someone's ceiling has to be capped here, especially in larger field stuff where you need to hit ceiling outcomes. I would definitely making that rule in smaller field stuff. You probably could get away with it, playing them together, but I'd still be looking at different ways to play them and maybe not playing them together in smaller field stuff, depending on how small of a field you're playing in. If I had to rank them, it'd be Porter Jr. for me currently. If I had to rank Bucks chalk, Porter Jr., Kuzma, and then Rollins. I don't know if you see it any other way. So the one I am not getting currently is Giannis. No Giannis for me right now.
I'm concerned. It doesn't add up that he's on some sort of minutes restriction. There was the report yesterday. There's a minutes issue. He played 24 minutes in a close game. Doc basically said, like, yeah, that was his minutes. And now the back half of a back-to-back after travel, what are we supposed to expect? Like, why would it jump up to 30 or 35? I don't know. Maybe they're just like, they wanted to make sure he was, who knows what's going on there with the medicals, but that's just weird. But if he happens to play 32 minutes, if I told you Giannis is playing 30 minutes or 32 minutes or even 30, no more, no less, I can lock in 30 minutes of Giannis versus Washington, I'm interested. I'm just scared he doesn't play that much. I'm curious what the field's going to do too. Is the field afraid? If the field's afraid, then okay, then I guess I can lean in and say whatever. You're supposed to lose anyway, so what if I lose this way? So be it. Yeah.
Like I said, yeah, I think my projections say or to have him playing, and I'm still not getting him. So maybe he's the one that we stay away from. I like the Cade pivot. Like the Cade pivot seems fantastic to me. Yeah. What about Paolo? Paolo had a fantastic night last night as well.
I don't really know how to decipher between. I just seen the chat. Chris says Dodgers home run. That's just beautiful to see. I don't know who's playing. I know they're doing some spring training stuff. I think the Dodgers played a little bit early because they're playing, the first games of the season in against the Cubs, I believe, in Japan. So there you go. Baseball and layaway. We'll be talking baseball in about a month and change. Looking forward to that, of course. Now I got sidetracked. I know you said something else, and I saw baseball and I got excited.
Don't get too excited.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get with 5 months into the season. I'm like, oh man, baseball again with the Dodgers.
That's what it is. It drags when you hit August. It's like absolutely dragging.
I'm usually good for 5 months, and like the last month, it's just like, oh,
baseball is by far my favorite DFS sport, and yeah, but I try to take August to September off because I know I'm just gonna get burnt out before NFL, I guess.
Yeah. No days off. No days off here at RG. No days off for me. We'll see.
Well, I try to like not play the same.
Oh, I get it.
We playing. Yeah.
I absolutely get it. All right. Anything else we should mention? Big picture. Again, the sites are totally different today as far as FanDuel, including the last three, DK dropping the last three, Golden State, Sacramento, the scheduled blowouts, OKC and Utah, 15-point favorite, Minnesota, Houston is the other game. So the DK slate, kind of, sort of, somewhat a sprint, right? 7:00 starts. I believe there are 3 games. You have to slate on DraftKings start exactly at the bell, 7:00, and then there's 7:30 and 2 8:30 games. Anything else you got before we dive in and talk about the slate from a game-by-game perspective?
No, we can dive in.
Did we get a winner? No, we did not get a winner. Okay, we got a second. Test 23 says I am finally in. So I guess that means you finally joined the Discord. It's not hard. Like, I'm not great with technology, and I figured out how to join the Discord.
How are you not great with technology?
How come I'm not great with technology? I don't know.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like you. It seems like something you would be good at. You're in your house all day. You're playing.
Because I wear glasses. Is that?
Glasses on. You fit all the. You fit all the tech guy stuff.
I look like the classic. I mean,
like the classic techie. Yeah.
There's an implication. Like if I wasn't doing this, I would be you think I would be like on the Geek Squad or something like that?
Yeah, probably. If I needed something to get fixed on my computer, I'd probably call you. I figured you'd know.
Hey,
one of the people. If my I don't know, my router was down and I couldn't fix it, you would be at the top of the list of people to call. If I didn't know anything about you, but just knew it was.
I would just the first thing I would say is restart the router, but I would just be a smart at. I don't know. I'm not the guy.
Yeah, no, you restart it. I know. Eric Johnson says you're on OnlyFans all day.
I have not. I've not been. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I've not ventured into that territory just yet. But whatever works for consenting adults. The second clue has been dropped, by the way. The second clue is impression. It is not This Is 40 or The Mask. I was just going to ask you that question, and your answer. Look at you pulling double duty, answering questions in chat. Yeah, questions regarding SimLabs. Now the chat is off the rails. Let's go ahead. Let's dive in and talk about the game-by-game perspective from the slate. First game we'll discuss two teams on the back half of a back-to-back. That's Memphis and O-Town. Orlando, 226 is the total. Memphis, probably one of the lowest totals they played the entire season. One of the fastest paces, if not the fastest pace, in all of basketball, down to a 226. They're in the back half of a back-to-back. They're traveling. It's a 3.5-point line as far as who's in and who's out for Memphis today. Well, it's really, really clean. The only person that's questionable right now is Vince Williams Jr. I thought maybe Ja, but no. He basically took yesterday off. Man, what a disaster. What a massively disappointing season for him. I feel like he's regressed a lot. Okay. Jonathan Isaac is questionable for Orlando. Of course, we know Suggs is out and Mo Wagner's out. Big deal yesterday with Orlando. Sometimes teams reset a little bit, recalibrate, figure out some things during the All-Star break, and I don't know if it's related to the head, the concussion that Gogo Batase had, but ever since he had that concussion, he's fallen back. They boosted Wendell Carter Jr. to the starting lineup, so he is just a really good salary play. Of course, being center and center only, there's an opportunity cost there to that, but he's a good point per dollar play. How do we feel about the Grizz and the Magic?
Yeah, I think Wendell Carter is probably the best play in this game. Currently getting a very good bit of Wendell Carter, around 90%. He started over Goga. I don't know if Wendell Carter seems like the better player in my opinion, but I could be wrong because the Magic seem to play Goga and have liked to play Goga. But last night they gave Wendell Carter the minutes. I like Wendell Carter in the spot. I also very much so like Paolo Banchero. Had a great game last night, 57 DK points. He gets Jaren Jackson, but I still think like it's a good spot for Paolo. It is a back-to-back, and maybe you can flip it and go to Franz. I also think Franz is in a very good spot. Giving up a ton of threes in transition is Memphis. So I like both these guys. I would not play them together. And yeah, I just think that these three Magic pieces are very strong on this 6-game slate. Do you have any leans between Paolo and Franz?
I don't really. I never really know which one is better. Frankly, I don't play a lot of Orlando in general. On the season, Banchero is a better fantasy point player. He's sort of fallen back when you look. He kind of regressed from the start of the year. Of course, the start of the year he took a massive leap and he got injured. On the season, for what it's worth, Banchero 1.42 fantasy points per minute. Franz Wagner 1.34. Banchero's got a slight edge as far as usage as well. 32%, really good number. And Franz, 31%, really good number. But, I mean, if you want to tell me you like Banchero better or Franz better, I'm not going to argue with you. I don't have a good answer.
Franz is the better matchup. I'm currently leaning more Paolo.
Yeah.
But like transition points and threes, you would think it'd be Franz who'd be in the better spot. He's not seeing Triple J, so yeah, I like Paolo, but I like Franz as well. Like I said at the beginning, I would not play them together. And Wendell Carter is the best value play. On the Memphis side, not really getting a ton of Memphis. Maybe I should be. Last night I got a ton of Vince Williams. Vince Williams he was like my pivot off Elf.
Yeah.
He ended up getting 20 at 3-1. I think he's questionable to play tonight.
He is.
So it probably won't be going back there.
And he missed a lot of time. So like it seems like a legit, this is somebody who was hurt for a good chunk of the season. Back to back. Is that the most minutes he's played all year? He played 24 a few months ago, but 20 minutes is the most he's played since then, since 11-15. So it's been a while.
Yeah, I like the price at 3-1 last night. It almost worked out because I didn't have any Elf, and he was my main pivot. Played Grimes with him, but he's not playing tonight, so we don't need to worry about it. It's just these Memphis guys, like they're not going to get any ownership, but they are playing Orlando, right? It is a tight spread for what it's worth. Bane had a good game yesterday. You can always play Bane. Triple J, I don't know if I love it. I think I would prefer getting to Bane or Ja. But Max, one of these Orlando guys, and I don't know if I'm getting any in my current stuff.
They just don't, they don't push their stars. Memphis, they play a big rotation, right? And just it's hard to get 30-plus minutes out of their best players. Back half of a back-to-back. And to stick on the baseball analogy, Memphis has the fastest pace in all of basketball. Orlando is the second slowest. So Orlando, it's like jumping up. It's like you're the Giants, and all of a sudden you're jumping in the cores, right?
Yeah.
Outside of defensive metrics and things like that, but just the pace as far as getting more possessions. But the inverse is also true, where you don't really love and just knowing Memphis against Orlando, slowing down a bunch. Like I said, the total for that game is one of the biggest, lowest totals we've seen probably all season. I don't have the list in front of me, but 226 seems really low for just Memphis playing anybody. Not to say you can't play them, but I just don't like, in principle, Memphis players, bad rotation. They don't push their stars as is, and the travel, the matchup, just I don't think I'm playing anybody in Memphis as long as
Santi's going to be owned at 4,500.
Where do we have him at as far as ownership? I don't love that. He's fine, but he's one of those role players that's like he's never really going to get pushed. And if he's hot, he'll stick around. Yeah, 24 minutes is our projection. Price is pretty decent, 4.5 on DK, 14% ownership currently. Yeah. But that's like an early play. I know the slate's pretty quick. It gets cut off pretty quickly on DK. Half the players are playing at 7 o'clock or locking at 7 o'clock. But that's something I don't think I need.
That isn't a Dean play.
No. It's fine, but it's like, okay, I built this lineup that I love, and I have 4 or 5 left for power forward. I guess I'll play Santi Aldama. He probably doesn't kill me. Like that's what that is, right?
I haven't updated, but I'm currently getting 18% of Santi.
Okay, and you're a little bit above,
a
little bit above current projections. Not sure if I vocalized it, by the way, but the second clue that we dropped was impression. I see there are some guesses coming in into the Discord, and one guess per clue drop. We'll drop a third clue here momentarily. But we got anything else as far as Memphis and Orlando, or shall we move on?
No, we can move on. We spent a lot of time on Memphis and Orlando, I feel like.
Well, it's a 6-gamer, and we'll probably touch on the FanDuel stuff. We typically leave. There's a couple of games. We typically leave that for crunch time. Crunch time does they go around the horn position by position if you're not aware, specific to FanDuel, specific to DK.
We said Wendell was starting, correct? Someone said it in chat.
Yeah, that seems to be officially. Orlando does a good job of releasing their starting lineups better than everybody else, basically. Also, their updates on their
copy the format of Orlando. Maybe people would start watching NBA games again.
LeBron was not officially in last night until 9:30 on the East Coast. It's just like, what are we doing? Just let the people know. I think it was 9:30. They finally said, yeah, he's going to play, but he was questionable. Of course, with game time decision an hour and a half beforehand. That nonsense. But just by the way, 40 years old, back half of a back-to-back, dude drops 40. Nobody cares. Just big old yawn. He's got us so spoiled. It's just incredible what he's doing. Whatever, 40 points.
Did you like the All-Star game situation with him? What did you think about that?
I mean, it's a bad look. It's a bad look.
Especially when the NHL like just drops.
Yeah.
Like no one's gonna watch the NHL anyways. It doesn't matter how good the product was. No one's.
Well, I don't know. Is Tim lurking? And if Tim's in chat, he's gonna start fighting you. I don't know if he's hanging around or not. But
I wanted to go to that game so bad. I had to fly back to Boston for 2 days.
Oh yeah, you had a chance to sneak it in, possibly.
I had a chance, and I ended up booking my flight for Wednesday instead of Thursday. But yeah, I really wanted to go to that game.
I saw tickets were like $2,500 or something like that in Boston.
You gotta know a few people, Dean. You know.
I was gonna say you pull the blender. You cut me off again. Of course, Bobby. You know a guy. You know a guy who knows a guy.
I know a couple guys. Yeah. I like watching. Don't get me wrong. I love hockey. I just don't think the majority of the country is gonna turn around because of the turn around their whole outlook on the NHL because of the Four Nations tournament.
Well, I mean, just like the Olympics, everybody is like way into like darts for 2 weeks or whatever. Not to compare hockey to darts, or gymnastics, right? Or
you're big into that Canadian game, curling. Is it curling? What is it?
Curling. Yeah, I want to be a sweeper one day in curling. Yeah. Officially, by the way, Chris Middleton and Marcus Smart are available to make their debuts. We got word on that. Let's talk about it. Milwaukee, Washington, 230 is the total. Milwaukee's a 6-point favorite. We already kind of touched in this game, but we'll kind of dig in and elaborate a little bit more. Again, double first blood revenge for Kyle Kuzma and for Middleton. We are currently projecting Middleton to come off the bench, but maybe he starts. I don't know. Maybe. Dame is officially out, so no Lillard, back half of back-to-back. Of course, Bobby Portis out for the season. What was that? Is it the season? I didn't do the math. 25 games, 24 now. Suspension. No Taurean Prince. He's got an ankle, so he's not available. As far as Washington, Brogdon's not playing, whatever. They're clean otherwise. Nobody of note. Sadiq Bey, I don't think he's played a minute all season long. We are projecting Rollins to start. Rollins, Jackson, Kuzma, Giannis, and Lopez. Other side, Poole, Carrington, George, Koulibaly, Sarr. They have a bunch of dudes for what it's worth. A lot of guys that are available as of right now. But, we've touched this already. And let's kind of circle back because, of course, not everybody joins us exactly at 5 o'clock on the East Coast, but let's give our thoughts as far as the Bucks and the Wiz. Start wherever you want to start.
Yeah, we can start with maybe we should just start with the Wizards because there's only really one play I like in the Wizards. We already kind of talked about Bucks chalk, and then we can just go back to the Bucks chalk. The Wizards guards tonight, especially Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole, I think, is someone I'm really interested in. I just want to see what we have for his ownership currently. We currently have him at 1%. That can't be right. I'll be well over that. It's just a really strong matchup for Wizards guards. Like Poole. I think you can make a case for Sarr at the center position at 5,600. Chris Middleton, we're talking. This is first blood revenge, and yeah, he could be vengeful.
He might stink.
Don't think we're getting a ton of ownership on him either. So I don't mind Middleton. Marcus Smart's on the Wizards now. No way he's playing.
You're just finding this out. He
has been off for like a week and a half, Dean.
No, it's
back. I think I seen it on like Underdog or something.
Yeah. You're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna play Marcus Smart anyway. We're projecting 20 minutes for him for what it's worth. By the way, give it a refresh. We got a ownership update at 5:25 on the East Coast.
I just refreshed, Dean. 5 minutes ago, you told me to refresh.
Well, here's what I'm telling you: is that I have. You mentioned Jordan Poole on DraftKings. We have him currently projected at 5.4% owned.
I just refreshed, and he's at 1% still. What am I?
I don't know.
What am I using here?
Do you have are you importing something else to mess with?
No, I'm not importing anything. I have NBA. Are you using shot quality or are you using RG?
No, I have it on the regular projections. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I can just tell you what I'm looking at.
I know why, Dean. I figured it out.
Something else going on?
Yeah. I see. Yep. 5% Poole. There you go.
You'll be over that though, right? You sounded pretty excited about Poole. as excited as you can be.
I think Poole's a good play tonight. Yeah, 5. I'll probably have about 10%. I wonder if I currently have him now. I don't have any yet. I'll be getting him though.
We got Middleton at 25 minutes, by the way. That's.
Oh no, I have 40% Poole currently. I'm going to be playing some Poole heavy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're making game stacks, I think
He's
Washington.
the easiest run back, right?
Yeah, I think he's the best run back. We got Sarr getting some ownership and Kispert getting some ownership, but I think he's the best one. Koulibaly, 6-7 is a tough price to pay. That's got to be like the most he's been all season long, if not very, very close to it. 6-7, it seems a bit much for me. That's large field only stuff, but obviously because of that, he's going to be like 2% owned, if that. But yeah, I agree. Poole's the best run back.
I think Poole's the only run back. Like I'm getting like 2% of basically Sarr and 1% of Kispert and no Koulibaly. So yeah, for me, he's probably the only run back. And then we kind of talked about Milwaukee basically splitting up Porter and Rollins, which I think is a pretty good idea. It was your idea. It's just something that these Bucks value chalk guys just have been torpedoing my teams since I started playing NBA DFS. So I'm going to try to make a rule around that. It should be a really good spot for Kuzma. But we basically gave you the deep dive on Kuzma at the beginning of the show. He's terrible.
But he's better as a fantasy player, right? He's
better as a fantasy player. Yeah,
he's terrible. Yeah,
he's better. But he hasn't been like has he won you any slates recently? Like the last couple of times he's been chalk, I feel like he's just been fair value and doesn't really hit a ceiling. He's 6,900. He's going to see a tremendous usage uptick here, so he's fine. Like if I had to rank them, like I said, it'd be Porter, Kuzma, and Rollins. That would be how I'd be ranking them. And then you could throw like Gary Trent in there as another value piece, but that's more for a large field or 150. And then Giannis.
Not to cut you off, I apologize, but just the
right,
minutes for Kuzma. 37, 39, 34, 36. And again, if we're going to think, or maybe it's possible, that Giannis is limited. Right now, we're projecting Giannis for 30 minutes. Let's say he plays 25. That's 5 more minutes of Kuzma playing without Giannis, most likely.
And he's also playing out without Portis, which previously, before the break, when he was chalk, there was Portis there. Now Portis is no longer there. So
and Lillard.
And Lillard, yeah. And Lillard's out. We should have hit on that probably from the beginning. So, yeah, Kuzma's totally fine. Like I said, Porter Jr. is the one that I'm getting 100% on, and I hope that changes when I re-update everything. Giannis, I have him. I think Giannis plays. If he plays, I don't think he's going to be very owned, right?
I don't know. I don't know how scared. I'm scared, and I'm not trying to make anybody else. I'm not trying to spread my paranoia. I'm just scared he's not going to play a full delegation of minutes. He might, but I feel like 30 is like his ceiling, but I could be wrong. And I would be thrilled to get 30. Like if I would play him if you're going to guarantee me 30. I'm just afraid. But maybe others aren't. And like you lean in to the unknown. I just don't understand.
I currently am not playing him based on what I'm getting, but I imagine like people are going to run Sims and they might get the same thing. Like the Sims aren't going to push out a guy who they don't think is going to play a ton of minutes or a superstar at that price.
But what if they're not going to be played? Then all of a sudden they're going to like it.
Yeah, maybe they'll like it. I don't know. Yeah, I guess he's a good tournament play in a great spot. So if he's going to come in low owned, or because really, like if he was getting full minutes, he'd be super highly owned, right? So yeah,
I'm going to run 50 lineups on the Sims. Let's see, large field, medium results range. Let's see how much Giannis it gives me. Pulling this up here on the fly. Talk about good chalk, bad chalk, exposures. By the way, 78% Kevin Porter.
I have 100 right now. He's
Yeah.
lock button for me currently. And even in like the first sim, when you did medium, you got Ryan Rollins and then Porter together, which is the rule we're trying to get away from, which is the combo we're trying to get at. It's actually fading Kuzma in the first 2 lineups. Are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing?
As far as the Sims?
Yeah.
The first
lineup
is
50. I ran 150.
Well, the first one I have is Kevin Porter and Gary Trent, the only Bucks. I saw so many chats about Gary Trent as well. I'm trying to find Giannis, and I don't think it's given me any in my first 50, which is, unless I'm missing it somehow. No, I don't think I'm not getting Giannis.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think the Sims are going to push Giannis, so I think he's going to come in low owned, and it's a really fantastic spot for Giannis.
Like knowing nothing else, just knowing that the Giannis is playing the Wizards, and then say, "Oh, he's not going to be played." Like, well, I need more information. That seems weird.
That's the way you have to think about it. Yeah. So you're probably better off being overweight to whatever you think Giannis is coming in at.
So I believe today is like their big contest on DraftKings is like $15 or whatever it is, and $100K to first, like $300K total prize pool. In that kind of contest, I would absolutely be over on Giannis. When you're talking about 33% of the prize pool going to first place. Now, you know me. I'm a nit, so there's no way I'm playing that contest. I can't play that. Yeah. I would be mad at myself if I accidentally signed up for it. But if that's what you're doing, if you're just playing for first, you're playing to win the game. Little Jim Mora. Was that Jim Mora? I think it was.
We play to win the game, Dean. We play to win the game.
I think that's who it was. Then I think you're supposed to lean in and just say, screw it. Like, you're supposed to lose the slate anyway. But in the stuff I'm doing, I don't think I'm getting there. I would, if I could have one piece of information, if I could peek at one box score and like one person's minutes, it would be Giannis, like on the entire slate. But was that?
What does Mr. Predicto say? What does Mr. Predicto say?
Oh, we can ask Mr. Predicto. Yeah, all right. Let's fire it up. Hold on. I'm glad you asked.
Oh, Herm Edwards, Dean. It was Herm Edwards.
Yeah, it was Herm. My bad.
Jim Morris playoffs.
Yeah. I got my coaching rant.
It's kind of a similar inflection though, so I can understand when you're as old as you are, you get crossed up a little bit.
Who's this, Bobby? They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
I'm blanking, Dean. I know
somebody
it. Who is it?
Somebody in chat will let us know. I assume somebody in chat knows. I'm not sure how good my impression is, but all right, let's ask Mr. Predicto. Mr. Predicto.
Was it Denny Green or?
Yeah, there you go. Shout out to the chat. Good job. All right. Will Giannis Antetokounmpo play a basketball this evening? Well, wait, hold on. He's going to play. It's how many minutes is he going to play? I guess I think he's likely to play. Will Giannis play? All right. We got to turn this thing on. Will Giannis Antetokounmpo play 30 minutes of basketball this evening? Mr. Predicto?
Definitely, yes.
Oh, there you go. You heard it here first. According to Mr. Predicto.
You got it, Mr. Predicto.
A lot of confidence.
What's he say? Right? He's right 60% of the time, every time.
We got anything else as far as Milwaukee, Washington?
No, we hit on all of it.
Did we not drop the third clue? I thought we did. My bad. I only see two clues strolling there. The third clue, it works out perfectly because we just went from Mr. Predicto, who sounded exactly like this. Confidence is the third clue. There you go. A little behind in those clues. My bad. I'm just trying to keep up with everything going on.
What are you doing, Dean? What are you doing?
Well, we're kind of, all the plates. You got the Mr. Predicto. We're checking ownership stuff. We're pulling up SimLabs. We're doing everything. We're having a conversation. We're taking a peek at what chat's up to. We're telling them to like and subscribe and turn on those notifications, do all those things. Hit all the buttons, hit all the things to keep the proverbial lights on for us. All right, 4 more games in the DraftKings slate. Let's talk about New York. This is the last of the 7 o'clock games. I know producer Steve is asking us, will OG play? I don't know, but that's a big deal. OG Anunoby is still questionable. Of course, Josh Hart is out. Back half of a back-to-back, traveling as well for New York. They are 8.5-point dogs in Cleveland. Rest of the injury report. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Yeah, Hart out. OG questionable. Mitch Rob is still out, but soon, maybe soon. Dean Wade is back for Cleveland. He is available, officially probable with his knee. Otherwise, Cleveland, they're basically full throttle. They're good to go. We saw that McBride. I don't know, slate breaker. I don't know if slate breaker is the right word because he was super popular. But if you didn't have McBride, go to bed or fire up Netflix or whatever. Yesterday, he went absolutely bonkers. Dropped him 50 or so, give or take. There's a lot of
49,
points.
Dean, he had 49.
Oh my! I didn't know the exact. Yeah, I know it was a big boy number for sure. We're expecting Brunson, Bridges, OG, Precious, and Cat to start. Of course, if OG is out, probably McBride. I would assume McBride would jump back in there. Precious, he's going to stick around. Either way, I think to start, it would make sense. That's why we're projecting him. Is fire up against the big boys of Allen and Mobley on the other side. Your read of New York and Cleveland is what?
Well, Towns and Brunson, every night. We have them for about 37 minutes. If OG is out, we already have Hart out. They're going to see a pretty big usage increase too. So they're the guys I really like. I guess you could go back to McBride. Why not? If he's in the starting lineup again, it's definitely a tougher matchup versus Cleveland.
He's not expected to be as of right now, for what it's worth. But if we lose OG, he probably starts.
Yeah, those would be the main Knicks that I would have interest in. I think Towns ahead of Brunson for me, even though the matchup's tougher for Towns.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know. He hasn't been Cleveland's been giving up more points than you think they would defensively recently. So I don't mind Towns. I don't mind Brunson. I would prefer Towns in terms of big spends. Cade is the one I would rather go to still, and I know you're on the Cade train too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think those two guys, Brunson and Towns, are really strong plays. And then from there, I don't know, really, Precious. They have to play Precious, right? They don't have a choice.
Yeah, he should play a fair bit of it, 30 minutes or so.
He's up at 6,200. If he comes in under 10%, I'm fine with getting over in 150. I currently don't have a lot of him. Mainly just Brunson and Towns for me currently. And then if McBride jumped into the starting lineup, if Hart were to sit, or at 4,300, I think McBride, his ownership would go up a good bit, but I think he'd also be a good play. On the Cleveland side, Mitchell at 8,300 and Mobley at 8,400. Those would be the two guys that would stand out. I think more people are going to go to Garland at 7,400. I don't know. I just prefer getting to Mobley or Mitchell. Yeah, Garland 7,400. I don't know I know you like Garland more than the other two because of the savings, I would imagine.
It's funny, if I had to pick someone in Cleveland, it would be Garland's. I don't expect to play much Cleveland's.
Yeah, they're tough to get. Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm not getting a ton of Cleveland at all.
Ownership wise, Garland, Allen, Mitchell as of right now in the teens, basically low teens, all three. Essentially nobody else getting played. Strus a pinch, but he's with Hunter there stealing some minutes away, and also Strus not a big usage guy. Obviously, you really need him to hit some threes. Mobley getting no ownership is interesting, but I understand why. But I'm not really on Cleveland. We did have an if then, and of course, if we lose OG, Cat and Brunson will project really well, despite the fact it's a tough matchup because they, even more usage going their way in 37 minutes as a median projection. Again, back-to-back travel, Tibbs doesn't care.
These guys aren't going to be able to walk in their 80s.
Well, I mean, a lot of people point to Jimmy Butler, getting beat up early in his career with Tibbs. Trying to think who else is on that list of guys. He kind of Luol Deng. I think that's the big one, right? He kind of ran him into the ground, kind of. his career felt like it probably could have been a little bit longer, but I don't know if that's correlation, causation, or we're just kind of delegating blame. But he plays them a lot, and also does Tibbs know the regular season doesn't really matter? It doesn't really matter. He's smart.
He's an old school guy. He plays to win the game, Dean.
You play to win the game, yes. But you also like OKC, they care
this
about.
This is like a big game for them too, though, right? Like,
I mean, as big as a game can be in the regular season, there's 82. I would agree with that. I think it says national TV as far as the standings. In the Eastern Conference. Let's see, I'm pulling it up here on the fly. Yeah, Cleveland is the 1, and New York is the 3. But Cleveland's up by 5 games. They're up by 6 games in the loss column on Boston. I didn't realize that the gap was that much. Obviously, they had that, earlier in the year, just what they didn't lose to start the season. But yeah, New York is basically going to be the 3. like Cleveland's going to be the 1, and New York's going to be the 3. Like the way it's kind of set right now. New York is several games behind Boston. They're probably not going to catch them. And Indiana, if you want to know about the drop off, Indiana's the 4 seed right now in the East. It's there.
So this is why the NBA is unwatchable, because Indiana's the 4 seed in the
East. I like some players in the Pacers, but you don't think of them as that's a team that's going to be host a series in the playoffs. Really?
Halliburton played well last night, for what it's worth. Honestly, bro, they could have been, that series with the Celtics could have been 3-3 last year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think the Celtics won at 4-1 or whatever.
By the way, Isaac is officially in for. Yeah, so here's the note. Giannis will remain limited to around 24 minutes if he plays, per coach Doc Rivers. I don't. The medical team knows. 24 and 24, just play him one game. I don't know, man. What are we doing? What is this dance? This new half measures. What is that?
I missed it because you messed me up with the Isaac thing. Isaac's out, Dean.
Yeah.
You said he was in, and then the chat was like, "No, he's out."
I said Isaac's in?
Yeah.
My bad. He's out.
Who's playing 24-24? What were you talking about?
Giannis. The report is that per coach Doc Rivers, he's going to remain in that 24-minute limit if he plays, which just sit him down. I don't know, man. If it's that fragile.
Yeah, he's your superstar. I don't know if you don't want him to go full throttle out there, then probably sit him.
I don't get it, but it's whatever. There's got to be some kind of method to that madness, but it just seems weird to me. Let's move on. Oh, let's drop our 4th clue. We got to get a winner before crunch time comes in about 20 minutes or so. The 4th clue is motionless. Jump in the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel. All you need is a regular, RG account. Doesn't be a paid account, just a regular account. You can get in there. 1 guess per clue drop. Tell me what movie I'm talking about, and you get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Miami, my Heat are in Toronto. 219 is the total. Not very exciting there. 3-point favorite are the Heat. This is a homecoming game for Wiggins. I think he's from Toronto. I know he's from Canada. Ingram is out, of course. Will we see him play basketball for Toronto this season? Probably not. Pirtle is out as well for Miami. Tyler Hero, he's probable. Jovic he's got a stomach, so he's questionable. And this might be the same thing that just kind of ravaged Miami that kind of went through everybody. So that feels pretty fragile to me. But also, by the way, a sneaky revenge game, first blood revenge. Davion Mitchell taking on his former team as of a couple weeks ago. Just throwing it out there. But I don't really like this game. I like Bam a little bit. Good rebounding matchup against Toronto. But on the whole, 219 total. I don't like the Heat Raptors game. If we're going to power rank games, it might be dead last for me.
Yeah, I haven't rerun anything, but I have 60% Bam currently.
I like him.
Yeah, versus Toronto's front court defense, which has been abysmal. So I like Bam. That's really it for Miami. Like, there's no other play for me. On the Toronto side, I think you can make a case for Quickly, RJ Barrett, but really not much that I love on the Toronto side. His Quickly's usage rate has been up, so he'd easily be my favorite.
And his minutes are finally where they should be, or I shouldn't say should be, but they're full.
He's playing like nearly 30 minutes, so last five games or so. So yeah, I don't know. Quickly,
he's getting ownership. I don't know if you saw, but he's getting. I think he's the most popular player in this game by far. 29% currently on DK. Bam at 17, but everybody else in the teens.
He's at 29. I'm currently getting 24% Quickly. Bam's the one that's screaming at 60.
Yeah, power forward makes him easier to play as well.
Yeah.
I don't really like anything
this game
else.
Kind of stinks, to be honest. You don't like Bam?
I like Bam. I like Bam.
Yeah, you like Bam. You said you liked him. I was like,
yeah, I like him. I don't really like much else. It's not much else interests me here. And Miami, they can go so many routes now with their minutes and the fringe stuff. The addition of Mitchell, and they seem to like Anderson, but you're not going to play Anderson, but he's going to play some and take away from somebody else. And Spo's always like tinkering on the fly, and it's really hard to trust anything. And Hero's fully priced. If you're running a 150, I suppose you can get there, but I'm not messing with it. And Barnes is another guy. I just can't see paying him full on this slate.
At 9,200, and that's just for me. There's so many other plays than that high end of the salary spectrum that I'd rather play than Barnes.
That is where I am at as well. This is a quick one. I got nothing really to say. Tournament wise, I guess I'm thinking like large.
Bam, I'm way over on Bam currently. I don't know if that's going to change once I update something. I haven't updated it really, so we're currently really over on Bam.
Would that change if? Well, you're probably playing Bam at power forward. I'm trying to think like if OG's out, would that push more stuff to Cat, and Cat would take some of those center spots possibly?
I would imagine so, and Achua would probably get a little bit of a bump too, in some way.
By the way, our projection team just moved Giannis down to 24 minutes, and I'm going to bet that we're going to see better projections now. This is how projections work for Kuzma and for Porter. There's going to be a trickle-down effect. Kuzma now projected for 36 minutes, which is probably that's where he's at before, but usage probably shuffled his way a little bit. 41 points as a DK median score. He's going to be really, really popular. Really popular. I think Kyle Kuzma. I get it. I'm probably playing him too, but and Porter as well is going to be very popular.
Emery running.
Yeah, would give it a refresh, and you're going to see the top two of the top three players hitting my stuff is Porter and Kuzma, basically hitting the caps that I haven't.
That's how it was for me, anyways. But I was getting 100% Porter, and I was like, oh baby, that's a lot.
Michael's asking if he can play Porter and Rollins in the same FanDuel lineup. We were talking about that before. FanDuel's, I think, a little bit tougher because you have 3 more games to play with, so I might be more apt to do it on DK.
It's definitely fine on DK. We were just saying.
I don't want to say no, but I kind of want to say no. I don't think I would do that on FanDuel. I don't think I play
a lot of ownership in your lineup for 2 very average players.
Let's move on. There are 2 more games left to go. It's Detroit, and San Antonio. 236.5 is the total. San Antonio playing the back half of a back-to-back. This is Detroit's first game since the All-Star break. They are really clean as far as the injury report. I think they got nothing, right? Of course, Ivy's been out. Bassi is back for San Antonio. He didn't play yesterday. This is kind of a tough call. I don't know how much it matters. We're currently projecting Biyombo to start. I don't know why Biyombo would jump ahead of Bassi, but whatever. Because Bassi was the number 2. He jumped ahead of Collins. And then, of course, he would be the guy. Collins was chipped out. Biyombo's signing these 10 days.
I didn't even know Biyombo was still in the league.
Yeah.
I see him in his lineup the other night or something.
Yeah, he started yesterday, and Mabashkidashvili had 0 minutes, which was kind of surprising. I thought he'd get a little bit of run for San Antonio. But, yeah, just keep an eye on that. I wouldn't be shocked if Biyombo doesn't start. But we thought Sohan might start, actually, yesterday. And he played 27, 28, 29 minutes, so he basically played starters minutes. Anyway, just keep an eye on this stuff.
Bassi's a lot better per minute than Bismack. So.
Yeah. I think Bassi's an interesting tournament play.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Of course, he's center and center only, but he can get it done in 20 minutes. And he could possibly play more than 20 minutes. He could also play 5. So we'll stay tuned.
He's going to play. They need him to play minutes tonight, correct?
Yeah, I mean, Detroit's got some big dudes, Duren and, Beef Stew will take care of the rest of the 48. We talked about Cade. Let's hype up Cade a little bit more. San Antonio, the absence of Wemby just significantly hurts their defense overall. I feel really good about Cade, having a big game tonight. We both like him as a big spend. Duren I like as well at center.
Cade's going to get steamed up, right? Everyone's kind of.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. You moved the needle. You said you liked him, and then we got to change the projection.
I think you moved the needle, Dean. You had him in the expert survey this morning.
What else do you like? What else do you want to talk about? By the way, Williams officially ruled out for Memphis. About 20 minutes or so being delegated. I don't think that matters a ton, but I'll see if anything changes.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's Cade. Starts with Cade with Detroit and doesn't end with Cade, but it's just a really, really good spot. Also, I don't even think Sochan's not going to start, right? So
probably not, but he does play some 5 at the center. I guess he can play some 5 here. San Antonio wants to go small, probably.
No, I was thinking about people that on-ball defenders that would give Cade trouble. Castle. Yeah.
Castle won't start either.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Chris Paul in the back half of a back-to-back?
He was hitting my stuff, and I was thinking to myself the same thing. Why am I getting Chris Paul at this age?
And they're done. Now Wemby's, they're gone. It's over. And whatever sort of dream they had of making a run at the playoffs, it's over. Yeah, and he played 32 minutes yesterday, which is a pretty big number for Paul. He was really good. Double-double with points and assists. That's a tough call for me. I'm afraid I'm not going to play him, and if he plays 32 minutes, I'd love him. I feel like they probably should push back a little bit, but who knows?
I would much rather get as much Fox as I could than Paul.
Yeah.
Fox last night, especially with Wemby out, the usage increases just through the roof. I think Fox is a very strong play. I'm actually getting a good bit of Fox and not as much of Cade after I ran that update. And yeah, I'm getting 100% Kevin Porter still.
Are they throwing
exposure went down?
Sorry, I'm going to cut you off. Are they going to throw Asar on Fox?
I'm getting 25% Oscar Thompson. Yeah. We're all in on the Thompson brothers, me and you, correct?
Oh, I want all the stock. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm always talking well about them. Their defense.
Outside of Cade, Oscar would be the guy that I'd want to get through to second on Detroit, and then Jalen Duren. Those would be my 3 Detroit guys that I'd have the most interest in, I guess.
Same.
Which is pretty much what I feel like everyone's. But Oscar's the one that I'm getting more Oscar than both Cade and Duren. So,
Let's see if we currently have that. Let's see. We got Duren at 22%, Cade around 20. Cade went up, right, since the last refresh of ownership. And again, the closer we get the lock, the more perfected it becomes. more information. Beef stew at 15. Beef stew at 15? I don't think it's going to be that high. Just my opinion. Backup center. You can do it, sure. I don't know how desperate I am for that. And then Osar is about 12%. So.
Yeah, I'm getting double the field, Osar.
I wouldn't play. I guess it kind of goes without saying, but I wouldn't play max one of the two centers, of course.
With Duran and Beef Stew.
Yeah. But I don't mind Beef Stew as like a, if things get goofy, Duran can, he can get in foul trouble, stuff like that for sure. Okay. Anything else?
I think it was like 2 weeks ago in the spot, not in the Detroit spot versus Chicago. Durham was chalky, and I just played Beef Stew because I thought I just felt the game was going to blow out, and it blew out, and Durham didn't get there, and Stu got there. So I don't know if that could really be the case in this situation, but
you need Stu to avoid technicals and fouls and ejections.
It's only a 4-point spread too. Yeah, you need.
Yeah, he's an interesting dude. The fifth clue, by the way, is Strolling. We got to get a winner. I have some bonus clues if necessary, but crunch time, knocking on the door. They'll be here about 10 minutes
Your
or so.
clues are too hard, Dean.
I thought it was kind of an easy one.
Coming home at the end of the day at work, and they have to like.
That's
this
fair.
This is tough stuff. People just did a whole day 9 to 5, and then they come home.
It's
and
Friday. Their brains
Friday, long week. You're dropping these like insanely tough clues. I still haven't got one clue right. I don't know how many shows we've done together. I haven't got one of these guys. One, yeah, I haven't even came close to one of these movies.
Well, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get there together. The last clue is interrogate is the last clue. So there are some guesses coming in. Giving away a week free of RG Premium in the Discord channel. If you guess in the YouTube, that doesn't count, but feel free to fire off there. Officially, OG is back. OG Ananobi is back tonight per the screen, per Don Yuzi, producer Steve, and I assume there's.
We trust the Don. We trust.
Yeah, definitely trust in the news that OG is in. OG, there you go, and producer Steve is confirming it. Let's knock out this last game. The last game is New Orleans and Dallas. 238 is the total. One of the biggest questionable players on the slate, I would say, is PJ Washington. Have not seen him in a while. I think he's missed he's missed 6 of the last 7, something like that. 238. Big boy total. New Orleans is a 5-point dog here. Who's in, who's out in this one? Well, if you're tall, you're not playing for Dallas. There's no Gafford. There's no Lively. There's no Powell. Actually, Dwight Powell's officially doubtful. How about that? I assume he's not playing, but I've not seen that change. PJ Washington is questionable with his he's got an ankle. And then I mentioned Anthony Davis. He is out as well. Nolans, you got Yves Missi. He's available. He's good to go. The big for New Orleans. DeJounte Murray, of course, done so for the season, as is Herb Jones. If PJ Washington comes back and plays standard minutes, I think he's an awesome play. So last 12 games, I was doing a little research on this one. Last 12 games, these are the 2 worst defensive teams in the league, defensive rating, New Orleans and Dallas. And then, I fire off a stat. I like my stats, right, Bobby? But sometimes, Bobby, I just sit there and I say, who on that team is going to stop that guy? And applying that thought, who on Dallas is going to stop Zion? I'll wait. You tell me who's going to subdue. The only thing that subdues Zion is 28 minutes. He hits 28 minutes, he can no longer play basketball. That's the only thing that stops him. But he's going to annihilate here, right?
He should, but the minutes do make me wonder how much I want to get to him. I'm getting 18% currently. I don't know, like on the other side, like who's stopping Kyrie? Really?
No, I like that call as well.
But I think both are fine for turns. I'm not going crazy. I think I'd probably prefer more Zion. Trey Murphy's another guy that has really come on this year. You could definitely play some Trey Murphy, especially in the absence of Ingram. Ingram's just never going to play again, like you said, for this New Orleans team.
They extended him too, right? I think they signed him for a couple more years, but who knows? There's no date, no target date, and why would you bring him back like the last week of the season or who knows? Maybe he'll play. Doesn't matter.
I have a play for you in this game that I'm getting way too much of, and I need your.
Can I guess? I'll tell you, there's one guy I do like, that is not going to be terribly popular in this game. Jose Alvarado.
So I'm getting Alvarado, but it isn't Alvarado. It's Max Christie.
Yeah. He's getting 20% for what it's worth. He's getting some ownership.
I'm not getting as much Alvarado as I was earlier. I'm getting 8%. I'm getting way too much. I'm getting almost 39% Max Christie.
That's a lot of Max Christie.
It's a lot of Max Christie.
But they're playing him a lot.
They're playing him a lot of minutes.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of have to.
Yeah, they don't really have a choice. I don't know. For like my overview from this game, Zion and Kyrie are very interesting tournament plays. I guess Max Christie's a good value play. I'm a little nervous at how much I'm playing him. Probably going to bump him down. But yeah.
39, 39, 35, 33 his last 4 games as far as minutes, Max Christie. He would look a little even stronger if they happen to lose a Washington. And are you saving a spot for Washington? Because I really think I think it was I want to say, what was his body part? What did he? Oh, it was like an ankle, right? Is he gonna? I mean, he was
to play. I have him at 17% to play, so probably not saving a spot.
17% to play. Okay. Yeah. By the way, let's do it. We're giving out bonus clues. We do not have a winner. I'm surprised, honestly, but
why? So you're saving a spot for Washington? Yeah.
I think I might. I mean, like, there are 2 games to play with at 8:30, right? Detroit, San Antonio. I think I can figure it out. I think so. I like Zion a lot. If I don't have Zion, maybe I'll figure out a way to get the Zion. Again, just 20 minutes.
Minutes cap with Zion. Minutes cap.
Maybe he gets the 30. Maybe they give him 2 more. But probably not. Probably you can.
Have they been hard capping him?
Basically, 28 has been his cutoff. Yeah. But also, if you kick off Ingram and you kick off Murray, he's got like 1.66 fantasy points per minute, give or take, and like 40% usage, like almost 40% usage without those guys. That's an insane number.
And like you said, they have no one in that front court that can.
Who's going to stop him? You tell me who's going to stop him. I'll wait. Nobody. All right. Bonus clue. You ready for bonus clue? Get in the Discord. Bonus clue.
No one bought this film Friday?
Milk. Milk is your bonus clue. Milk is your bonus clue. We'll wait another minute. If we need another bonus clue, so be it. But that will be your bonus clue. Insect impression. We do have a winner with milk. Shout out to, that's a multiple time winner. Peterman took it down. So insect, I'll give you the rundown. I know we got crunch time coming in, Noto's coming in, Beer's coming in, and Kevin Roth, of course, holding it down. Insect was in reference to the director. The director of this movie is Jay Roach. A roach is an insect. Impression, you want to make a first impression when you meet somebody, right? A good first impression. You've heard that before. Try to make a good first impression when you meet somebody. When you meet somebody, you want to make a good first impression. Confidence, and if you have confidence in somebody, Bobby, if you have confidence in somebody,
I have confidence in you, Dean. I have confidence in you.
So, am I in your circle of trust?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
If I ever need to fix my internet, you're the first
guy. Yeah. So, confidence, of course, is in reference to circle of trust. Motionless is talking about the star. The star of this film is the great director of Severance, but also the star of Meet the Parents, Ben Stiller. Still motionless.
Interrogate. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Now you're upset.
That's ridiculous, dude.
Interrogate. You remember your Bobby De Niro fired him up. Hooked him up to the lie detector. He interrogated him. Okay. So there you go.
Trust. Yeah. So Meet the Parents was the movie. What was the insect?
Well, the director's name is Jay Roach, and a roach is an insect.
You're not coming up with these daily. Like you're finding these somewhere, and then
I
read your face got.
No, I literally
you're not coming up with these daily. There's no way someone can take up the time in their day to figure these clues out, to make up these clues. Like, there's no way.
Well, I mean, this is how I prepare. I do a lot of things to prepare.
Killer
I don't just
emotionless.
wake up.
Come on.
I don't understand what the issue is. Wait, did Steve give a side hint?
Yeah, you did meet the parents already before. This has already been.
I don't think so.
ChatGPT to all these clues, they never work. ChatGPT doesn't help you here.
Well, maybe because I chat GPT.
All the clues are hyperbole.
Someone asked what decade, so I told them.
Steve is always giving freebie bonus clues. He loves to spoon feed the premium.
This was the hardest one yet.
I thought I'm a bad gauge. I thought it was kind of easier, but bad job by me.
This was
they make sense, but this one I personally think was like one of the hardest ones yet. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, like, what am I supposed to say? Circle of trust, like or Jinxie. I was gonna do like a Mr. Jinx reference, but everybody knows every Mr. Jinx.
And which meet the parents? You didn't say
nipple. Like I was gonna do nipple. And nipple's either meet the parents or cable guy, right? Or something else that's not going to be on the board. All right.
Someone, Eric Johnson's in.
What's that?
Eric said ChatGPT is only as smart as the person using it.
Oh, he's taking shots at you. Who's breaking the slate tonight, Bobby?
Jordan Poole.
Man, it's not Cade Cunningham, or it's also.
Well, I knew you were going to say. For me, it's Jordan Poole or Bam. You're going to say. You were going to say Cade, so I didn't want to take your guy.
Javier says needed for. Yeah, I was going to do a Puff the Magic Dragon reference as well. I almost got there. I actually do. I don't like. There's not like a website I pull up. I probably should find a website that no one else.
Negative creep said Dean's a clue savant. He's kind of right, but like, we're only simple men here, you know, simple-minded men.
I mean, it's a lot easier when you know the answer. But, we should have a crunch time coming in here momentarily. I believe, we at least have Roth and Beer. And I think Noto is on layaway. She'll be here in just a second. So let's go ahead and segue. Let's bring in crunch time. It's Kevin Roth. It's Noto. It's Beer. Crunch time right now. All right. Not fully assembled. Oh, we have an angry Roth. What's the issue, Rob?
Your clues. He's mad about your clues.
That's I am.
I've been mad about these clues. I don't even have a chance. Even when the first one drops every show, I just know I'm dead.
Motionless? What the hell is that? You're like the clue is face, and then we're thinking face because the character did an about face. None of these things make any sense.
I just explained it. Were you listening when I was explaining it?
I heard you explain it, but literally no one can make those 17 logic jumps that you do to connect your clues.
He's right. I agree with Roth.
There's too many steps. There's too many steps around.
So
There's a
what
reason
do you want my clue to be? Do you want clue number one to be Mr. Jenks and then it's guessed right away? Is that what you want?
Kitty cat would be fine. You know, like there are a lot of movies with a cat. Now you know there's a cat. Okay. Boom, that eliminates some movies, leaves plenty of others. It's insane, Dean.
Spray paint. I don't know. Again, you can make it. I could have given like more precise clues, but it's a delicate balance where it's got to be, easy enough to get, but not too easy. Where
I just want to know how you actually come up with these clues and how long it takes you per day.
It depends, I mean, like I had more. I had green. That was another clue I had because you remember like green is the choice of geniuses. Maybe you don't remember.
I know I'm drawing dead on Film Friday every time we do a show together. Like before, no chance, Dean. I'm with Roth here. It's a lot of run around. I appreciate the effort. I'll give you that. It's not too easy, but maybe the chat disagrees. But
agreed. Well, I do appreciate it. I enjoy it. But holy shit, Dean. Good Lord.
You've seen Meet the Parents, right? Beer, you've seen Meet the Parents?
We've seen it. Yeah, we've seen it.
I love the movie. And all of them clues, I've probably seen that movie 50 times, and I would have never landed on
me too. That's what I'm saying. I would have never got that at all. There's no way.
Fair enough.
Roth coming in strong with the chest hair, by the way.
Thank you.
Boy.
Yeah, boy. Friday. One more button.
He's in Texas too. So I guess
I'm going full Derek Carty right now. I'm getting ready for baseball season.
Did you think Neil was on the show, or are you all of a sudden you're turning into a flannel guy?
I'm non-sarcastically turning into a flannel guy. They're so cozy and they keep you warm. I actually love them.
All right. We should have Noto coming in here shortly, I assume. Yes. Is it a tech issue or just it'll be
Two-man booth.
Two-man booth, baby.
Oh, wow. Beer, you got more. You're like Kyle Kuzma. You're going to get a boost in usage.
Absolutely.
A lot of
Bring
usage.
it on, man. I'm ready for all the usage. Let's roll.
Bobby, let's step aside and get out of here. Make way for crunch time. 36 minutes. You get beer. You get Roth. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do not go anywhere because crunch time starts right now. Roth, take it away.
Good stuff. Welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. It's crunch time. It is generally two of the sharpest minds in the biz, but I am not one of those, so it is one of the sharpest minds in the biz. It's Beermakersfan, a.k.a. Beer. What up, Beer? Good to be on a show with you, man.
You too, brother. Friday is here. Always one of my favorite days, kicking off the weekend. Solid slate of games, a lot of news to cover. Chat looks like they're on fire, so let's rock and roll.
Okay, well, we got to do a step up. You know, Dean kind of ended the show on a rough note with the movie clues. We're going to bring it back up. We're going to get the people some winners. That's what we came here to do. Generally, Beer, we talked about you've got like a usage uptick. Usually on every team, there's a superstar, and then there's somebody who's feeding them the rock. I'm not sure I'm even capable of that. So you got to rebound, dribble down the court, and dunk on everybody. You ready for that?
Ah, come on. Give yourself a little more credit. I see you out there winning some money. You got the flannel rocking, the chest hair showing. I mean, come on.
All right. I feel pretty good. You're right. You lifted me up. My guy, let's talk about this slate a little bit. Let's talk about maybe some news that has broken, news we're waiting to break that is kind of crucial as you're trying to build the lineup tonight.
Lots of news. I mean, you could go with Milwaukee. We know Lillard is out. We're hearing whispers Giannis may be limited, which is a great spot if he were to play. Dropped 78 on Washington last time out. So that's a big one. PJ Washington is one that we're waiting on. Dallas running out of bigs. I mean, there's really nobody left there. So that's another big one. Some intriguing matchups, some higher scoring games potentially. We did get OG Anunoby news finally. So I know we were waiting on that. So lots of stories here, lots of options. This is a slate I really like. There's some positions I wish I could cram 6-7 point guards in a lineup. So should be a fun one tonight.
Okay. Captain America says Middleton and Kuz revenge narrative going on as well.
Oh, yeah. I love a good revenge narrative. Now, when you can add on stats to it, which is I'm more of a Kuzma guy. Washington, the worst defense in the league, going to get some extra run and usage, just like I am here on the show tonight. So then you get that revenge narrative on top. I like that one a lot more than Middleton. You know, I could see Middleton playing fine, but we know Washington going to play a pile of guys, 24, 26 minutes. So I think Kuzma, the much better play there. Okay,
very good. Well, let's dive right into it here. We like starting on FanDuel. By the way, Butthole says, does Roth have chest hair or is he lasered? This is all man.
I see some chest hair popping out.
This
no
is
laser
all
for
man.
Roth.
Right here. There we go. Look at that.
There
That
it
is like Wolverine over here. Take that away. I'm scared.
Mine's probably coming out of the shirt. You don't want me pulling one of them flannels off.
That's how you know. That's real man status. Okay, Beer, let's start on FanDuel. Let's start at point guard. What do you like over there?
Well, we'll start with Milwaukee. Kevin Porter Jr. should be in for a lot more run here. Ryan Rollins, shooting guard, only eligible on FanDuel. So we'll get to him once we move to shooting guard. We'll kind of cover the whole slate and give you kind of the FanDuel onlys. I love De'Aaron Fox again. Price here on FanDuel, probably where he should be. DraftKings, I think you're getting a nice discount on him. Jose Alvarado, a guy whose role continues to grow. Without DeJounte Murray, they need some help there. He played well heading into the All-Star break, so I think he's another solid option here tonight. Plenty of spend-up options. I don't know that I'm going all the way up to Cade Cunningham, but you can certainly go that route. You get in the range, Kyrie Irving, Jalen Brunson, and then FanDuel specific, Steph Curry is just too cheap at 8,600, so he really stands out over on FanDuel.
Okay, good stuff. We roll right on into shooting guard, and I think you mentioned a guy already there at shooting guard, but what do you like?
Yeah, kind of a lot of similar names. You'll have a lot of overlap tonight with positions, shooting guard, point guard. Fox is one that's shooting guard eligible on both sites. So this is a way I love to get as many point guards in my lineup as I can. So that's a way I would use him more in the shooting guard spot and save those point guard spots because there's just not as many options at shooting guard. McBride, we probably lost the value with OG Anunoby back. He'll still play some minutes, still a fair price on him, but I feel like he'll be a little bit overowned coming off of last night. Milwaukee, again, the value at Ryan Rollins, shooting guard eligible on FanDuel. Gary Trent, another name that should see an uptick. Max Christie, a guy that's shooting guard, small forward eligible, that should play a big role, whether or not PJ Washington's in there or out. But if he's out, it's even more available for Max Christie there. And Donovan Mitchell, a name I think people will forget. I'm not jamming him into lineups. I think there's some value you can go with here, but he's in play as well.
I'm seeing here on FanDuel, it looks like our highest owned projected shooting guard is Kevin Porter at 5-1, but only getting 25 minutes and 27 fantasy points projected. Is that enough? Is that someone you're excited about?
I think there's more. I think the projection isn't factoring in Giannis potentially being limited. So I'm not calling out our projection team. I see they have been upticking this, and I think the upside with Kevin Porter is exciting. He's a guy that it doesn't take a lot of minutes. He can rack up a lot of stats very, very quickly. So more affordable, cheaper on DraftKings like most of these guys. So a little bit more appealing over there. But I think he plays a big role. If this game is a blowout, does he stay out there? They want to see what they have in this guy. So he may be blowout proof in this one is part of the appeal as well.
Very nice. Okay, good stuff. That brings us to small forward. What are we doing over there?
Again, a lot of overlap with names. So if you're hearing a lot of the same names, we'll apologize. We'll try to give you some different names here. But Kuzma, another buck. So the question is going to be how many bucks are too many? I think you can have 2 to 3 comfortably in a lineup in this matchup. We talked about the revenge narrative. We talked about this is the worst defense in the entire NBA as far as defensive efficiency goes. So Kuzma in a good spot here. There's some good value at this spot. We talked about Middleton. Don't mind him. Ausar Thompson, a guy with Detroit. You know, his brother getting all the headlines, priced way up. But Asur's been playing some good ball here as well. And then Gary Trent, we mentioned at shooting guard. Also eligible at small forward here tonight. Late games, not a ton I like. Pajemski's not bad for Golden State if you're playing on FanDuel. It's really about it for me at small forward. Probably the position I like the least, but with some of that flexibility, we do have some options. Again, Max Christie can fit in here at small forward as well.
Yeah, so this is one of those spots where if it's a guy who's shooting guard, small forward, you want him at small forward. If it's point guard, shooting guard, you want him at shooting guard because you're trying to backload all of that to get as many point guards as you can.
Correct. Point guard, to me, top of the list, no doubt. Shooting guard, I think there's just more options tonight than there are at small forward.
Yeah. Okay, good stuff. That brings us to power forward. What do you like there?
Power forward, Giannis is risky. If you want to roll it out there, he could definitely go for 50 to 60 in this 24-minute potential limit cap. Do they do it? Do they not? I think they do limit him. So
let me pause on that. 24-minute potential limit cap. Like, has there been any word about this? Why 24 minutes?
Yeah, Doc Rivers came out and said they're going to that's the number that he threw out there. So if this was they're playing Boston, they're playing Cleveland, a more competitive game, maybe we see that number go up. Washington, they probably don't need Giannis. Honestly, they can probably win that game without Lillard and Giannis. So
yeah.
Risky again, 78 last time against Washington. So you love the matchup, but if he's only going to get 24 minutes, it's really hard to pay that kind of price on him. So,
and in the past, has Doc been full of shit when he says things like that?
He's so I would say.
Okay.
That the old BS meters right around in that 50-50 range with him. So again, it's matchup driven for me. It's less about what Doc's saying. It's do they need to run this guy into the ground? We know he was limited and out before the All-Star break. So I think you see them ease him back in. So I removed him from some of my lineups. It's just a lot to pay. High reward, but also a high risk with him. So I think this is a spot, though, you don't really need to go to Giannis. I think there's other options. You save a little bit of money. Guys like Banchero has been playing well. Zion Williamson, another guy with a minutes cap, but he can certainly get there in 30 minutes, put up big numbers against this Dallas team. PJ Washington, if he's in there, they're missing Davis, Gafford, Lively. I mean, so if he's out there, he's going to have to probably play some serious minutes here. And then you can save. Guys like Precious Achiuwa should be back in that starting lineup. Santi Aldama for Memphis has been playing really well. And that price on DraftKings, it's not moved. We're talking about a guy that's averaging around 30 DraftKings points a game over his last 4 to 5. Still 4,500 over there. Jeremy Sohan, another name, was decent yesterday. I think that'll scare a lot of people off, but I think he could have a better game today. And then Bam Adebayo, another guy, good matchup here with Toronto, who he's played well against. So as you see, Banchero, Bam, Zion. So you don't need Giannis in your lineup. You can save some money. And then there's also the value guys that you could go with, Aldamas, Precious Achua, guys like that.
There's no way in hell I'm paying up, and maybe this is going to bite me, but I'm not paying up top dollar to get 20-something minutes out of it, like mid 20 minutes. That ain't happening. So I'm out on Giannis because of that. Did get the Bucks starting lineup: Rollins, Green, Kuz, Giannis, and Lopez. Anything there that gets you excited, or is that about what you expected?
I don't think this will scare people away from Kevin Porter Jr. I don't think people expected him to start. I think Ryan Rollins, a great play that is less owned than Kevin Porter Jr., a little bit cheaper, not as exciting, not as flashy, maybe not as much upside, but him being in the starting lineup, maybe that balances out the ownership, but he's certainly intriguing. So we pretty much mentioned all those guys. Green, a guy I don't play a ton of. Sure, he can get hot. He can have his big games, but he's probably the one I'm avoiding. Lopez, another guy I don't play a ton. So it's mainly Trent, Kuzma, Porter, and Rollins for me from Milwaukee.
Okay, good stuff. That brings us to the center spot. What are we doing there?
So center, we've named a lot of the names already. I'll try to add some center-only names. I think Karl Anthony Towns in a great spot if you want to spend up there. Mid-range, I think Jalen Duren. I've been playing really well. I know there's always concerns with him and Stewart splitting minutes, but he's been putting some big games on the board. And you take Wemby out of that lineup, they don't have the size to deal with a guy like Jalen Duren. So he could be a great option in the mid-range for you. And then on the cheap, Wendell Carter Jr. Back in that starting lineup, played 32 minutes the other night. If he's a starting center at $4,300, that's just way too cheap for a guy like Wendell Carter, especially in a cash game. You want to save some money. He's been delivering a good floor, not as much on the ceiling, but I think that can come in this matchup. But he looks like good value. As far as FanDuel only goes, Domantas Sabonis in that late game, just going to have to pick it up without De'Aaron Fox there. So he's a good option.
Let's talk about your favorite spend ups, because as I went through the list, was there anyone? I mean, you like Steph Curry a little bit. You like Towns. You're not too into Giannis because of the minutes cap. Who's your favorite spend up on FanDuel?
Spend ups on FanDuel. I like De'Aaron Fox. Again, he's cheaper on DraftKings. He's up to 9,300 on FanDuel. I still think that's a decent price on him. I didn't mention Jimmy Butler on FanDuel. I think he's a good play here tonight. Bam Adebayo, another name that you can spend up on. And then Zion. I like the matchup here for him here tonight. Even if he's going to be under 30 minutes, without any bigs, without any size, I don't know how anybody's going to slow this guy down.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. We want to kick it to DK. Before we do that, though, we want to make sure you're getting one of the best deals in the industry, especially if you're playing multiple DFS sports. We got hockey. We got basketball. You got golf. We got baseball right around the corner. And we've got a deal for you. For a limited time, get your first month of Combo Pro for $79.99. Just $15 more than PGA Premium. It's only $5 more than NBA Premium. That's the kind of value that we're looking for. So make sure you take advantage of that offer while it still exists. Beer, let's kick it over to DraftKings. I assume it's similar names, but you've already mentioned a few price differences. We've got the time. We've got 22 minutes if we need it. So let's roll through DK and tell me what you like over there.
So De'Aaron Fox going to be my favorite once again. Had a great game the other night, and it's just going to see so much usage. I mean, think about this guy at Sacramento putting up numbers, surrounded by Sabonis and DeRozan and Malik Monk. Some of the names there. Now you put him on San Antonio, and it's Chris Paul, Stephen Castle, Devin Vassell. I mean, no right. Offense to these guys.
Take Wemby out of that San Antonio equation, and now he's the dude, right?
Right. So it's going to be a lot more ball in his hands, running the offense, usage flowing through him. So just dramatically cheaper on DraftKings. I think he's going to be a 9K player before we know it. So this is one of them you want to buy low while you have the opportunity. I mentioned Alvarado already. DK quickly is a lot cheaper over here, and 6,200 on quickly looks, again, probably $500-$600 too cheap. So we didn't mention him on FanDuel, but he is cheaper over here. Porter Jr. Rollins, really good value over here. Again, a lot of the same names on both sites. Kyrie Irving, I don't know if we mentioned him, but PJ Washington's out. Again, they don't have a ton of offense. So Kyrie Irving, another guy that's a little bit too cheap.
Very good. Do you have some questions come in? We'll get to those in a bit. But in the meantime, let's go to shooting guard on DK Beer.
Again, I hate the double up here. I don't like the FanDuel. So the 3 games later, I'm not a huge fan of. I don't have a lot of names for. So a lot of these names, apologies. They're going to be kind of similar here on both sites. But Rollins, again, shooting guard eligible, point guard eligible, a way to get more point guards into your lineup. There is one name on FanDuel I'll give you. I should have gave it to you in the FanDuel section. So we're kind of jumping out of order here. But Minnesota, a team dealing with a lot of injuries. So we have a lot of questions on Edwards, Conley, Gobert. So Terrence Shannon Jr., a lot of college basketball fans will know him, maybe not so much NBA fans. Was great at Illinois. He's been getting more and more runs. So shooting guard over there on FanDuel, if there's some injuries, I think he can help fill that bill. But again, Trent, Christie, I really like tonight. So those are the main names. Shooting guard, small forward are probably my least favorite positions tonight.
All right. Rolling through things here. Okay. Small forward it is. What are we doing over there?
Kuzma, we've got to play that revenge narrative, Roth, and I see Middleton in the starting lineup as well. So I just think Kuzma has much more upside, like we talked about, just a much better matchup here. But maybe Middleton's feeling a little vengeful as well. So he's certainly a guy that you can look at it. I like seeing him in the starting lineup. I just worry about, again, they run so many guys, and one guy will pop off. Jordan Poole, obviously their best option. He's going to dominate the usage. So Middleton, intriguing, but I like Kuzma a lot more. Asor Thompson, again, pretty cheap over here on DraftKings. Trent, we mentioned for value. So, again, shooting guard, small forward is kind of ugly. Get as many point guards in as you can. Slide them shooting guards down to small. That's like the old, like the old ripple effect. If you can.
Yeah. Let's talk Kuz ownership real quick. Is he the chalkiest play of the slate? Who's the prime chalk of the night?
Kuzma's going to be up there for sure, especially, with people worried about Giannis now. I think that's going to drop his ownership. I still think Kevin Porter Jr. going to be heavily owned, even though he's not in the starting lineup. He could push 50 to 60%. It's just easy to plug him in, save a lot of money. Kuzma is priced appropriately. So when you plug in a $4,300 guy, it opens up so much more. So
yeah.
Porter probably dominates. I think Trent will get up there now as well. You're going to see a lot of ownership on these Milwaukee guys, which is why Rollins, I'm going to keep an eye on that ownership. He could be the least owned, maybe a Lopez, maybe a Green, who I besmirched earlier. You get a little bit different with your Milwaukee Bucks. They're probably going to dig into that bench pretty deep.
Okay, good stuff. How about power forward? What do we like there?
Power forward, I love Zion tonight. It's just such a good matchup. I know people worry about the minutes, but if PJ's out, there's just nobody there that's going to be able to deal with him. So he's a guy I like. Banchero, I mentioned earlier. Aldama's really cheap over here at 4,500. Bam Adebayo around 8K. And then a FanDuel only. Naz Reid, we didn't mention him in the FanDuel section, but it could be no Gobert, no Randall. He's going to have to play big minutes over there. So unfortunately, we don't get him on DK, but Naz Reid, a solid play for you over on FanDuel.
All right. Last but not least, go to the center spot. And after that, we'll open it up to some QQs.
Pretty much the same names here. Karl Anthony Towns on the high end, Jalen Duren in that mid-range at a fair price, and then Wendell Carter is super cheap on DraftKings tonight. So those are the three that I'm rolling. Sohan can be center eligible. A lot of guys from the power forward category can be used here at center, but those are the main three guys for me. Towns, Wendell Carter, cheap, and Duren in the mid-range.
Okay. Beer, is there a game that you're trying to go out of your way to stack? Like if you could pick one game, 2 game stack, you want dudes from both sides. What game are you targeting?
Probably Dallas, New Orleans. I like a lot of the New Orleans side. We gave you Zion. We gave you Alvarado. McCollum, always a guy that can pop off. Murphy. And then Dallas, Kyrie's going to be there. We'll answer the PJ Washington question here, hopefully before the show. And if not, Max Christie is a guy that you can play. So there's multiple pieces on both sides. 2 defenses I don't really love. A lot of focus on this Milwaukee team may drive some ownership down on that game. So that's what I'm certainly targeting and stacking. I have done that in a few lineups.
All right, so let's say PJ is out. Because if PJ is in, I want to play him. Like, he's my dude. He does it all. I'm a huge fan. If he is out, you mentioned Christie. Who else can I play from that team other than Kyrie, Christie? Because there's a lot of kind of middling dudes over there that I don't know if I want them in my lineup.
Yeah, it's tough. I think Kessler Edwards becomes a lot more interesting. He's 4,800, really played well before the All-Star break. So maybe he gets a bump. Najee Marshall, a guy that we've seen have some big games. He's more of more of that cash game guy. He's very consistent, but generally doesn't pop off. Prosper, kind of the same. He'll have a big game here once in a while. So it would definitely be Irving, Edwards, Clay would get a bump. And then Christie, obviously.
Yeah.
So Edwards would be the one out of that group, to answer your question, that I would feel good enough about the upside. I think he has more upside than the other guys.
Okay, good stuff. We have 15-ish minutes until lock. We're going to open it up to some QQs. We will take your questions until they run out. Hopefully that goes for 15 minutes. If not, Beer and I'll go get a beer. We'll just sit here and drink a beer. Or
that's good, brother.
Maybe we'll bounce a little early, but let's see what we've got. Jumping in the Discord real quick. I want everybody to know about our props and pick'em package. Got a discount going on. It features daily prop picks and fancy pick'em selections from some of your favorite RotoGrinders experts. We're knocking 50% off the price of your first month when you sign up with the link below. So make sure you are checking that out. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up. Beer doing double duty today, covering for our guy Noto and dragging me along. So give Beer the thumbs up.
No, it's a team effort, Roth. Again, your chest hair is popping, man. We're a combo here. Give Roth that thumbs up.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay, DK Cash question, Beer. Last man in. Foxy Loxy, which I assume is just Fox, or Donovan Mitchell.
I'm going Fox. The usage. I like Mitchell. It's a tougher matchup now that Anunoby's in that lineup. So both good options here. I just think Fox, even Detroit's been much better against point guards. No doubt. The defense has improved, but I like the matchup better. I'm going to go with Fox.
Okay. D-Rock says DK, GPP, Beer. I'm running 3 lineups. Would you play 2 of those with Zion or switch 1 to Paolo?
I'm fine with Zion. I like both of those guys. Again, that's what's the reason you didn't need Giannis, is those were the 2 guys that I really like. So Banchero, they probably similar ceilings. Banchero a little bit safer. I think Zion has a little bit more upside, even in his limited minutes. So GPP wise, I'll give a slight edge to Zion, but I really like them both tonight.
Okay. Some beer related questions, which is wonderful. We are both experts in that field.
Absolutely.
I can assure you of that. Eric says, if I drink 12 beers, will my lineups do better?
Yeah, you won't be as sad and depressed. So be like, we're on to tomorrow if you don't do well. So you good or bad, you're good, you're high, you're happy, you're celebrating. Bad, you're like, oh well, I'm enjoying the beer.
And you may be thinking a little contrarian at that point too. You're going to come up with a lineup that not many people are. You're going to come up with a guy. You're going to convince yourself he's the dude, and that might just work out for you.
Absolutely.
We approve. Beer, your favorite bar in Milwaukee?
So I got to say, I live in Michigan. I've been here since 2004. I was in Florida before that. So I haven't lived in Wisconsin since 2000. I can't even, there was some local bars I like. Kelly's Bleachers was a bar that I liked, had a couple locations. So it has changed, Roth. It used to be the old Bradley Center in the downtown area. Now they built the Pfizer Forum. I was just at a game a few months ago, and the Deer District and restaurants and bars and music, and it is incredible. So been too long to answer that question, but if you can get down to a game, check out the Deer District. It's a good time down there.
There you go. All right. More QQs coming in. We've got a cash question from Freyas. DK Cash, what do you think about Bam as a last piece in DK Cash?
Fine with it. He's been very good against this team, averaging over 50 in three matchups this season. So Bam's right there. It's Zion, Banchero, Bam slightly behind them, but all 3 tremendous options tonight.
Okay. We'll go to Blink 182's question. In a large field DK GPP, can I use Cole Anthony at shooting guard? I'm using 3 guys from the 6-pack. That's a good choice. P.S. I've been watching you for years. Cheers, he says.
Love it. Cheers back. Appreciate the support, my man. I'm fine with Cole Anthony. Suggs tonight. It's kind of been him and Anthony Black, but Anthony's been the better player of the 2. So I am good with Cole Anthony tonight.
Who was tonight's beast of the night?
Love it. You can fill in for me with that. You got it, man. Next time I'm on vacation, you're in there. So
time to belly up to the fantasy bar. Your beast of the night.
Who's your guy? What guy have I gushed about the most tonight? That's the beast.
Kuz?
Nope. He was in the video though.
All right. Is it Zion?
Nope.
Shit.
De'Aaron Fox.
Oh, okay.
Back to back. I had him yesterday. I generally don't like giving the same guy, but until they price him appropriately, I'm going to go back to the well.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see where we go in here. We'll go to M. Rios, Chris Paul and Alvarado, or Poole and Pope.
Oh, that's a good one. I worry about Chris Paul in the back-to-back a little bit, but I'm still going to go with that combo. I really like Alvarado tonight.
Okay. Let's go to Tests 23. Assuming PJ Washington plays in a DKGPP, would you prefer PJ Washington and Kyrie or Cade and Poole?
Another good one. I'm going to go Cade and Poole. I really like Washington and Kyrie, but I worry a little bit. They need PJ, but are they going to want to push him, tremendously? And we know the upside that Poole has, Cade has. So it's very close. And I'm going to have some PJ. I'm not trying to scare anybody off, but I like that Cade and Poole combo a little bit more.
Okay. We'll go to a sides question, Beer. It's FanDuel Cash 2v2. Butler, Wiggy, or Barrett and Draymond, or just Dre, which I assume is Draymond.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the first one there. I've kind of retired from playing Draymond. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Hearing from Maryi Danyeezy that PJ and AD, PJ is available, PJ is in. So there you have it. That news has broke. What's your interest level on PJ?
I love him. Again, no AD, no Gafford, no Lively. So the worry is, do they limit him? But if they were and he practiced yesterday, which was the encouraging sign. So I think he'll be fine. Could he be limited? Could something? Sure. So anything can happen in this game, but I really like him. I have him above that Zion and Banchero and Bam based on price. You save about $1,000 off those guys on DraftKings. So pricing wise, I prefer PJ. Does he have the same upside as those guys? I think he does, and you save yourself some money.
Yeah, he's got big rebound upside, which is what I always like about him. Like, I don't think of him as a primary rebounder, but with all those bigs out, he can pull down 10 plus boards easily, right? Like, Absolutely. It's not out of the question for him to get 12 boards.
Yep.
Let's see what else we've got. Thoughts on Middleton in DK Cash, Beer?
I actually feel better about him in cash than I would in a tournament. I think solid floor, playing his former team. I don't know that he has massive upside. I always worry about these Washington guys outside of Jordan Poole, just kind of crushing each other's value, playing that 24-ish minutes. So cash, I actually don't mind him. I think there's better options, but tournaments is where I worry about him.
Okay. Iowa Boy says, would you play Ware in a small field?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think he'll be low owned. Their centers I like a little bit more. The hype on him has kind of died down a little bit. There was a point everybody was playing him. He's putting big numbers on the board. So anytime you can get a low owned guy with that kind of upside, I don't mind it at all.
We are seeing, by the way, no minutes restriction on PJ Washington, according to the
all
chat.
Systems go. Blast off.
Yep, I'm all aboard that train. Chinatown says, Roth, have you read The Fifth Risk by the Moneyball guy? It is actually on my to-read list, and I think it's kind of topical right now as well, so I will be sure to check that out. FanDuel single entry Beer, how would you rank Banchero and Franz? My man, I screw this up every time. If I am picking one of those dudes, I pick the wrong one every time. Is it just always Banchero? Just now? Just pick him?
No, I mean, not always. It's positionally. So you can make the argument positionally that there's many more appealing options at power forward. So you could give the edge to Franz. You have PJ, you have Bam, you have Zion, you have some other options. I'm generally a Banchero guy over a Franz guy, so that's the way I'll go. But, if you want to go a different direction at power forward, Franz is fine as well.
Okay. Tess says, do we like Zion less now that PJ is in? I don't know if we like him less so much. Is he saying defensively?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Zion and the lack of big bodies. Yeah. There's still a lack of big bodies on that team. So, maybe a tiny downgrade, but I'm not adjusting anything I have Zion in.
I don't know if anyone can really slow down or stop Zion. Honestly, he's one of those dudes. He just gets downhill.
If they had Gafford, they have all these bodies that they can, and they do. They'll throw the Prospers and that they'll throw some of these guys at them, no doubt. Yeah. But it doesn't downgrade it a ton. Maybe a rebound or two less now that PJ's in there, but I'm not adjusting anything.
All right, let's see what else we got. DK Cash question for you: Bam, Kyrie versus Towns and PJ Washington.
Bam, Kyrie, Towns, PJ Washington. I'll go Bam, Kyrie, but all four guys I really like. The chat's coming up with some good ones. These are some dilemmas I've had throughout the day.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Speaking of the chat, I'm jumping into YouTube now. Make sure you hit us with the thumbs up. Scrolling up a little bit here. Let's see what we've got. Chris says, I know nobody's playing the late slate, but can I give Sabonis a shot?
Yeah, I mentioned him. It's Sabonis, Naz Reid, Steph Curry are probably my favorites. If you're playing that late slate or you're playing on FanDuel, you want some exposure to those games.
Okay. Any knowledge or interest of Water Street in Milwaukee?
Absolutely. Water Street is legendary. I did not mention favorite bars because that's a whole strip of bars. Water Street. If you go to Milwaukee, you go see a Bucks Spurs game, you got to hit Water Street. Absolutely.
Okay, that's good to know. All right. And getting the inside info here. FanDuel GPP beer. Is this small forward George, Aldama, or Marshall?
I really like Aldama. It maybe would have been Marshall if PJ Washington was out, but we mentioned Aldama's been playing some good ball, and it doesn't seem anybody's noticing as far as pricing goes, as far as ownership goes. So I'll go Aldama there.
Yeah. Let's see. Our guy Butho Jenkins says your favorite DK util 7,900 and below. What's PJ at?
He's 72, so you could go that route. 79. Let me look here. 79 and below. I do really like PJ. Trying to see, all the guys I like are right above that. I'm going to say PJ, save the money. RJ Barrett, a name we didn't mention, I like, but he's down there at 72. Jordan Poole is intriguing at 76. That game could stay a lot closer if Giannis is limited and without Lillard. But I'm going to go PJ Washington, save the money, and maybe you can bump up somewhere else.
Yeah. All right. We'll go to Cleveland Pickers question. Beer, have you been to Torch Lake in Michigan? The water is clear like the beaches in Florida.
I have not been to Torch yet. Unfortunately, I hear all about it. Been up north, have done a lot of things. Up north Michigan, if you've never been, it's like a different country. Absolutely beautiful stuff up there. So Torch is on my list. Have not been. A lot of my friends have been, rage about the place, but I have not been yet.
Okay. Is this the UP, right? The Upper Peninsula?
Yeah. It's like you cross a line and you don't even feel like you're in Michigan or the United States anymore. It's just unbelievable.
I really do want to do that. I want to do some fishing out there. Beer drinking and fishing is what I want to
Hit
go.
Me up, man.
Yeah, that sounds solid. Let's see. We're 3-4 minutes until lock. Still plenty of questions coming in. Koulibaly and Bassi. What are your thoughts there? A question from Jim.
Bassi, I'm not on. Koulibaly's kind of in that Washington mix of guys I talk about. I'm not playing him personally, but I do like the upside that he gives you. And if this game stays closer, that's even more minutes, more opportunity for him. Bassi, I'm staying away from tonight.
Okay, we'll go to AG. What are your thoughts on KPJ?
Love him. I just worry about the ownership. So if you're worried, I'm going to play him. I'll say that. I think there's ways to get different where you don't have to worry about it. Cash games, I think he's a great option. If you're worried about ownership, I don't mind the pivot to Rollins, who will be a lot less cheap in the ownership department.
All right. Mr. Richard says DK small field GPP, Dante Exum or Trent as a last piece.
I'm going to go Trent, even though he's going to be higher owned. Exum coming off that big game, but they're getting some pieces back here tonight. Clay didn't play in that one. Kyrie was out, I believe. So, Exum kind of slides down the totem pole a little bit. Yeah. Trent, they're going to have to rely on him, and you love the matchup with Washington tonight.
2 notes from AD and 1 that Moses Brown is available to make his Mavs debut tonight. I don't think we're not going that deep, are we?
No, that's digging. I would be surprised if he played, more than 7-8 minutes, to be honest.
Yeah. And then his question, any chance that AJ Green gets hot?
Like we talked about, I don't play him a ton, but he tends to pop off here and there. So he's certainly capable of having a big game. He'll be lower owned than some of the other guys. It's riskier for sure, but Just depends on what does the rest of your lineup look like. Do you need to lower that ownership a little bit? You can give him a shot.
All right. Achilles says FanDuel Cash back in the RG Discord here. It's a 3v3 for you, FanDuel Cash beer. Garland, Pods, and PJ Washington, or Kyrie, KPJ, and Wiggy.
I like that second combo.
Very good. We'll go to Beaner's question. Would you play SGA tonight in a FanDuel GPP? I feel like we didn't even mention him.
We didn't because it's like a 38-point spread at Utah. So in a GPP, sure, because a lot of people are going to be scared off of that blowout. You understand the blowout risk when you play him, but if you're going to get him low owned and Utah finds a way to keep this game close, absolutely.
Sure. Okay. We'll go to a sides question. FanDuel Cash, Christie and Pods, or Poole and Rollins. Is Christie out of your cash pool now with PJ in?
No, he goes down a little bit, but not enough for me to remove him from the pool. So okay. I still like Christie. They need offense. He can help provide it. He's doing a little bit of everything. He's playing big minutes. So I'll go with the Christie group.
Okay, very good. A few more coming in here as we are just moments until lock. Trent or Porter, Battle of the Juniors.
This is a good one. I'm gonna give the edge to Gary Trent Jr. I think he'll be a little bit lower owned. I do like Porter's upside though. He can rack up stats very, very quickly.
And I'm seeing here Kessler Edwards likely to start at center on Friday, and he said it as if that was an official statement here. Actually, I think A. Dean says starting for Dallas.
Yeah, I kind of expected that, and he's played well, so he's kind of entering that Wendell Carter, cheap center area. So
what's the price there? I'm intrigued.
He's let me look at him.
I mean, you got a guy in Kyrie who can kind of run a little pick and roll action, get you some lobs, some dunks.
Yep, 4,800. So a little bit more than Wendell Carter. So it just depends. You have a little bit more money. He has shown upside. It's the same upside available though with Kyrie and with Clay in, with PJ in. That's what I worry about. I wish he was a little bit cheaper. If he's like 38 or 4K, I'm loving it. 48.
Yeah, that's my exact thought on that one. Okay, hey, guess what? We did it. We made it to lock. No hiccups, no bumps, just smooth sailing. Excellent stuff, Beer. I appreciate it as always. It's good working with you. Let's bounce on out of here. Pound a couple cold ones and watch some sports. So for Beer, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.